Well, I did all the core subjects at GCSE, but I opted to do triple award science, so that's individual GCSEs for each subject. And then for A-level I did chemistry, physics, maths, and chemistry, physics, maths, geology and general studies. So I'm a civil engineer, and in order to get onto an engineering degree you need maths and physics A-level, so they're a bare minimum. And obviously they help with all the maths and the mechanics and the equations that you need to do as an engineer, but also the geology helped as a civil engineer, looking at rock formations, rock strengths, that sort of thing. And then also the chemistry really helped with materials science, and with thermodynamics, Brownian motion, that sort of thing. So all my A-levels really helped towards my degree. At the moment I am designing a flood defence for a rural village up in Northumberland, so that's going to be a flood wall, a floodgate and a ramp. And I also work on maintenance of existing flood defence assets and making sure that they are inspected regularly, repaired when needed, and the data that we hold on them is efficient and what we need to do our jobs. The main benefit of what I'm working on is that we protect people from flooding, which obviously is a very important thing. We are able to take properties that regularly flood and provide them with a defence that will protect them, not from every single flood event, but from the lower, more frequent ones which happen more regularly. My career path was quite traditional. I went to sixth form college and did A-levels. Then I did an MEng degree in civil engineering at Durham. While I was doing my degree, I did some placements at different engineering firms. Between my third and my fourth year, I had a summer placement with the Environment Agency. I was incredibly lucky that they sponsored me through my final year and offered me a job, and I've been working there for about 4.5 years. Well, engineering in general is a very important career. From getting up in the morning, the water that comes to our house, to the road that we go to work or school on, to the flood defences that protect our properties. It plays such an important role in day-to-day life, and if you're interested in science and maths and its applications, it can be a very fulfilling career, and you can also make a difference, which is the most important aspect for me for my job. I don't think there's one best way to enter a career in civil engineering, because there are so many different routes that you can do it, and it just depends what works for you. So for me, I was very academic and I wanted to go to university, but if you're more practical, you could do a JMBQ, an MVQ, an HNC, and you all end up at the same place at the end as a qualified civil engineer. You just got to do what's best for you. But for me, the best way to do it was to do A-levels and a degree. I think it'd be very, very difficult to be working by yourself as an engineer. There are so many different aspects of what we do that you can't be specialist in every single one of them. So it's very important on any big project to have a team of people who have certain skills and certain specialisms, and I think working in a team is the best way to do my job. I would like to get more into the incident response side of working in flooding. So at the minute, one of my key jobs is to provide flood defences. I also, as part of my role, work on an incident support rota, issuing flood warnings and flood alerts during a flood, and I find that it's really interesting. There's so much more scope to go, and I think that's, for me personally, that's the route that I would like to see myself go down. Academically, you really need to be good at physics and maths, but also you need to be good at communication, because you do have to work as part of a team, and if you don't talk to each other and you don't know what everybody's doing, then mistakes can happen. And also with the work that I do, I have to interact regularly with the people who are directly affected by flooding. I can't go onto my site and say I'm going to do this because this is what's best for you, because they will have an opinion on it, and they will know more about the site than I will, based on what I know from modelling and from past events. So strong academic background, good communication skills, working well in a team, and also a passion for it, and a drive to make a difference really helps. I would say that flooding is possibly becoming more regular, I think, because we don't have much in the way of history of flooding. Obviously we've got the past 100 to 150 years, but it's hard to build a picture, but it's definitely being affected by climate change. 2012 in the northeast is a prime example of what can happen. So potentially yes, we're getting more. What we're certainly seeing is greater sizes of events, and that can be directly linked to climate change. Also, when we design flood defences, or we work on a flood warning scheme or whatever, we always incorporate the effect of climate change, because we want our defences to be resilient. In 50 years' time, we want them to be able to afford that level of protection. Coastal processes such as longshore drift and erosion are things that are always going to happen. Certainly on a small scale, other than doing the best that you can to cut your carbon footprint so that minimises climate change, that makes it worse. There's not really a lot that an individual person can do. But as an organisation and as other organisations, what we can do is we can do several different types of management. So we can build groins to slow longshore drift, we can build breakwaters, defences, we can hold the line, which is giving us, keeping our coastline at the level that we already have it. We can advance the line if we think it's important enough that we need to gain more line. We can push off the defences further out into the sea, or we can even retreat the line, so we can go by managed retreat, which is where we can say this coastal process is so voracious and there isn't anything behind it, so we can just slowly retreat from our defences and our coastal erosion protection and just let the sea do what it needs to do. And quite often that can result in amazing nature reserves as the ecosystems re-establish.